Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Technology Innovation Hub. So it's going to be a session from DevOps portal. So we will do the second session on the introduction to Docker. Okay, so let me share the screen. Yes, so in the previous session, I think we discussed this one, right? Yeah, we went through this and all this we discussed, right? And finally, we discussed about the writable container interface and Docker image. Right, let's continue from there, the Docker ecosystem. Right, so this is to give you an idea about the Docker tools and the components likewise and the editions, versions, right? So you can see we have a Docker engine, right? So that is a product from Docker, Docker engine. It consists of Docker client and Docker daemon, right? Mainly two tools, right? Then you have Docker Cloud, right? And the clustering component of Docker, Docker Swarm, right? And we have Docker Compose. So this is to compose the images, run the Docker build command and all, right? Composing images by embedding the relevant applications and configurations. And we have Docker machine, right? Okay, Docker desktop, and those are there, right? And again, we have these tools are available: Docker command line interface, Docker CLI, right? Docker daemon CLI, Docker machine CLI, likewise Compose CLI, this is registry DTR CLI, and UCP CLI, right? So these are tools, right? So of course, we are not going to spend so much of time on those tools because our DevOps, our main focus is working in Kubernetes, right? So we are heading towards Kubernetes. These sessions actually after building the basic CI/CD pipeline. So while explaining the pipeline building, I was talking terminologies with regards to Docker and images. So now I think you have a better understanding. And once we get to know the basics from Docker, right? About the images, how to compose a basic image, and also we'll be continuing our sessions in the path of Kubernetes, not in Docker path, right? But this is to give you an idea, right? Okay, so we have different releases from Docker, the products, right? We have Docker Enterprise Edition, right? And this is, I think, another product we can go into and see, right? For the Docker installation, you should have visited this one while installing Docker. If you follow the building basic CI/CD pipeline tutorials, the sessions in that we are visiting this site and the Docker Community Edition. So if you just click here, it will take you to the Docker Enterprise Edition, right? All right. So you can, this is about Docker Enterprise Edition, which has the support, right? Will be supporting, right? In case of issue, production support is there, right? So, and these platforms are there, right? The supported platforms, right? And we have CentOS, Debian, or Enterprise Linux, SUSE, Ubuntu, right? So it supports a wide range of platforms, right? And 64-bit editions, right? Okay, so that is that release, and get Docker will take you to the basic normal installation, right? So Docker desktop and Docker this one, Docker for Linux, right? You should have visited this place even in previously, right? And this is the community edition of Docker, right? Of course, it's the same thing with the installation also by default give the community edition, but this is you can pull the images from here, right? So just take a look at it, right? So Docker community edition. Right. So those are the products available in Docker. Yes, let's proceed. Right. So this is about Docker file, right? So when it comes to Docker file, you can see I have told this one. Docker file is the configuration where if you want, when you want to build an image, so this is the file the configuration is being given, right? The image should go on this order. The building composing of the image should go on this particular steps, right? So it is given in the Docker file, right? And you can see from more or less calls the base image, right? And after that, the run command defines a step, right? This is, for example, apk add. So it's going to add some applications, G++, right, for compiling. And again, it's going for the working directory and copying the current folder content likewise. So, and again, there's another step run going to install yarn install, right? Yeah. So, and there's a CMD. So likewise, anyway, the syntaxes can be vary, right? So Docker file, if you want to search now the language, right? For example, if you take a look at, if you do a Google, right? The language for Docker files, it say like this, language for Docker file, right? Let's put it at one node. Right? A Docker file is just a text file, so that is what it says, right? A script, it is a script that contains collection of commands and instructions that will automatically in sequence. Yeah, that's what I explained. A Docker compose, building a new Docker. A Docker compose.yml is used to Docker compose. If you are using feature Docker, that's right. So that's why there's no specific language, but of course the YAML syntax is different. Again, even if you take YAML, right, there are different syntaxes. No, I mean even HashiCorp, they have the HashiCorp language, right? And even you can use Ruby, right? So I mean there are different languages to use YAML, but anyway, it's a basic syntax, right? It's a simple text, simple English. Yeah, and language specific getting start guide. Yes, so docker.com. So these are, I am just telling you, just take a look at those things. What is the language, and also, yeah, even if you go further from the Docker official documentation, language specific, right? Let's say this one, Docker file document contain commands to use. So Docker file reference. You can see here, this is the official one from Docker itself. A Docker file is a text document, so that's what they say, contains commands, right? So the syntaxes are given here. Okay. So if you want to use various activities with Docker file, you can come to this place, official guide, and take a look at. Now Docker build command, that's to build one, that's to compose the image, right? The page describes the commands that can use in Docker file, right? So that's what, right? When you are reading this page, refer to okay, best practices. So that's why they are specifically telling the syntaxes here, right? And that is how it's going to be. Okay, right, Docker file. So we can't say it's 100% YAML because it's a text. That's what the Docker says. A text language basis. It's a basic simple English, right? So because the YAML files are kind of different, we can say, because let's example, we say you get Terraform language, right? You have YAML, you have Ansible playbook, right? It uses YAML. YAML is yet another markup language, right? Anyway, out of all these things, don't worry about the languages because these are basic simple English, right? So because this is infrastructure as code, no, right? In ultimately the all these YAMLs and Dockerfile syntaxes, commonly we can say infrastructure as code in under one bucket, right? So when it's come to infrastructure as code, IAC or workflow as code, right? So it is not like structural programming, right? So don't worry about I mean, some people are worried about this. No, now, okay, now Dockerfile uses a specific language and it has a syntax. No, it's not traditional programming. It's not like running a C++ program or Visual Basic old days or .NET. No, that's not kind of a programming type allowed here, right? Very basic, simple English, right? You will, yeah, of course, you saw the run command and likewise, so very simple. So don't worry about it's not about programming. It is handling simple text keywords, right? Okay, right. All right. So and after that, so you can see. So once the Docker file is there, right? It's just Docker file, right? No extension required, right? And after that, Docker build -t getting started, right? Dot, right? So this is to compose. Now the content of the file will be executed once you say Docker build -t, and you can tag it, right? T is to tag. You can give a name after composing. What is the outcome of the image name can be given right now. This will be getting started. The image name will be composed with the name getting started, right? Dot means the content of the, I mean, the file is in the same directory, right? So if you are running this Docker build command, if you say dot, so Docker file should be in the same directory as you run this Docker build command. Otherwise, you have to give the path, right? You will see the demo. I will show you a demo because then we'll run this one and see. Then you will get a full understanding. So that's why once you build this image, then you can execute it, you can run it, right? So then you can get the container. So you can see Docker run detached and minus d is detached and the port, right? 3000, the port is given, exposing the internal port to outside, so that using 3000 port, we will be able to access this particular application. So web application going to be, right? And the name is getting started, that is the image name. So this image is going to executed, right? And you are going to have the container up and running. So once the container is up and running, after a few seconds, using HTTP localhost 3000 port, because it is exposed to outside, you will be able to access this particular app. Very, very simple, right? So this example I have taken from official Docker guide itself. So if you visit here, right? So and take a look at that, right? This is the place, and I think this sample application, right? So the same link, right? Sample application. So they are telling everything how to do. So this is what, and okay, I think theoretical wise, that is enough, I think, on Docker side, right? So that's all I have in Docker introductory level. So let's do this demo, and let's build this particular application and compose it and get the image and run it and see how it works, right? Okay, let me switch to my Linux environment, right? Okay. All right, so this is the sample application. So it is available in the reference is given in the presentation itself. So if you go here, when you go down, get in the app. So what they are telling me is download the application. So there's a GitHub repo, right? So there's a GitHub repo. If you click here, it will take you to this place, right? Getting started. So you can just, you know how to manage the GitHub. So you go to the repository, getting started repository, and you can click this one and you can download the zip file. That's what I do. Download the whole thing, right? No need to go to app and get it. So just download the whole thing. It's not such a big application, right? It's in MB 25 or 30 somewhere and small, right? So download that one. And once you download it, and in my case, I have copied it to my Docker user. So you can see I have copied unzipped, and it is unzipped as getting started master. So that's the way it is unzipping, right? So we can take that one. CWD, right? So this is the place, right? So if you go back, right? Further going back, yeah. So this is how I have unzipped it, right? So once you unzip, you will have this particular getting started master. So that is what, right? So that is the I think repo name is there. So that's going to download. You get that. No, here. Okay. So this is for getting started. So if you download an unzip file, will be like that. So you can unzip it, right? Yeah, I think this one, this is zip file, getting started zip file. So unzip it, and I have moved it to my Docker user home, right? So I'm in Docker user home. So, and once I unzip this, I get this folder, and you have to manage the privileges and all. If you do it under root, just change the privileges. So inside that, under that particular folder, you will get this much of subdirectories. But for this particular application, for this particular example, we need to go into app directory, right? Because we are not going to use the whole content. So if you closely look at, there's a Docker file itself, right? There's already a Docker file, but we are not going to use this. So this Docker file is for the whole application, right? So we are not going to use the whole application in the repository. We are going to get into the app folder and run it, right? So that's what even in the guide, if you go to, they are telling that, right? So get into the app. So inside app, you don't get any Docker file. This is what I have created, right? So this Docker file I have just created, right? Okay, I have created a Docker file with that content. If you take a look at it, so this content is the same content which I have given in the slide. Or you can take it from the, I mean, the page, right? In the application guide. So here they have this is the content. Let's copy and paste, and they are telling that, right? Very simple. Just copy and paste and create the Docker file, right? So then now you are going to have the Docker file, and you can save it, right? So okay, So once you save that, then next command is this. Let me show you. I think I have run it. So it will take a little bit of time, 7 to 8 minutes. So therefore I have done it. So the next command, next thing what we have to do is this, right? As per the slide, as per their guideline. So you can just simply run docker build tag as this same command I am executing dot. So why I am typing dot? Because I have the docker file in my same directory, right? I show you I am in the same place inside app, so I have the docker file there, right? So once you press enter, you will see they are starting the image composing process getting started. So likewise, step one, the persist step from node 1 2. So that's what I think. If you take a look at it, that's what it says from node. So that's the base image, right? So step one is getting executed. So and it is pulling that base image, and it is tagging is once that first step is completed, right? And that's why it's taken layer by layer. So this image has several layers actually. So this is the first layer, and you have that. Then after that, step two, run apk add no. So that's the next second no cat. So that's the second command, right? Very simple, right? So executing this second one. Okay. So likewise, whenever there's a run, there will be step, right? So then it's running through that step. So it's downloading these packages. So there are sub steps because this G++ makes this there. No? So it's just to compile as well, right? So that's a okay. So it's continuing. Then step three, copying that work directory. Actually, work directory app history, running that one, right? And after that, only copying comes. Then yarn install, right? Okay. Yarn, yeah, okay. And yarn likewise is going fetching. So likewise, then building fresh packages done. That those sub steps. Then step six, final command source index.js. So those are the steps given in the Docker file, right? So once it is everything is done, successful tag getting started. So because I have given him to -t with this name, so tagging that one, right? Latest anyway coming by default, right? Because when you tag the Docker image, there's a specific syntax, right? So and you have to give the name, the tag name, the name for the image, colon, and the latest. Latest is taken automatically if you don't give, right? But normally this syntax is going, you have to first should be the repository name, right? And because your name, the image name normally should carry the repository name as well, where the image is stored, right? Anyway, don't worry, we have more practical somewhere in the future session. So in that tagging will be explained. I'll explain tagging more detail because those things are important. Because even whatever, not only for Docker, even in Kubernetes, tagging is very important, right? We have the Docker container registry. So to maintain the images inside registry, proper naming convention is required. So therefore, tagging is very important. Artifact repository is something else, right? That is for the build artifact. This is for the image artifacts. Image artifacts means where the naming for the particular image on the repository and the registry. Okay, right. So that's what's going to happen. So it's tagged, and now you have the image, right? Getting started is created. Then it's simple matter of running it. You can see the same command, docker run detached port is 3000. Getting it started. So it's going to execute, right? So you can see it's tagging the container storage tag is there. This is not the container ID. This is storage tag ID for the container, right? And okay, now we have the container up and running. So very simple. I can right away go and access what they are telling as the next step, right? So once you do that, the next step is starting the app and the container. That is done. I did this one now. So then they ask in to access, no, right? So very simply localhost 3000. Yeah, let's check it. It will work fine, right? This is what localhost 3000. So it's working fine. I just refresh. So it's very simple. This is a very simple app, right? So just to add some items, right? And that's what they are telling. And if further, if you want to see, you should have a container up and running. If you run the docker ps command, right? So you can see our container should be up and running. Right, so you can see this one getting started, right? This is the container ID. Getting started is up and running. And further, if you want to see the ports are there, so 3000 internal port exposed to outside, they are 3000. Right? Because whatever the container running inside the We can't say inside. When the image is running, the container is running on the Docker engine. Inside the Docker engine, we can say Docker platform, because Docker engine is just one component, right? So in the Docker platform, we are having the container up and running. So to expose that container, because application is running inside the container, right? So to get that particular application outside, to expose it, the internal port, we need to map it to outside. That's why this outside port is given. So similarly, that's why we are able to access the app using the same port, because it's exposed to outside 3000, right? So that is the Docker way of doing that. In Kubernetes, we have the services and all port cluster IP and all, there are services. So let's learn those things later, right? And yeah, these are my other containers. That's okay. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. So try out that application. It's a very basic one, and because again it is Docker. I mean, from their Docker official guide itself, you can try it out for you to get an idea. Yeah. So going ahead, you see the works expect what they are telling. Go ahead and add 2 or 3 items. That's okay, right? That's fine. Yeah, so that's a very simple app they are doing. If you take a quick look, Docker dashboard. Okay, that's a dashboard. That's a different thing. You don't need to go there. Docker has a graphical interface. No, right? That's we need to start separate. But that's okay. Leave it behind. Right? So with Kubernetes, we go for their dashboards later. Right? They have their own dashboard. Right? All right. So I think we are done there, right? Hope you understood the explanation for Docker, right? Okay. Right. I'll meet you soon with the next step. So next step is going to be the minikube. Now we are heading for the Kubernetes side. So we'll be configuring minikube, and we are going to start working in the YAML files and the deployments and all, and the ports and the architectural things. We are going to start with the next session itself, right? All right. So I'll meet you there. So have a great time, right? If you like the video, you can put a subscribe. Okay. I'll meet you soon. Bye bye.